So, in today's mastermind, what we're going to be going over is storytelling in sales, right? So, painting a picture in your prospect's mind. So, thanks for joining me today, of course. So, we are diving into one of the most powerful skills that you can use within sales. Now, this is storytelling. Now, I'm not just talking about telling any old story. I'm talking about painting a vivid, powerful picture within your prospect's mind. The kind of storytelling that gets under their skin, makes them feel something, and ultimately builds that trust and connection. So let's start with the big picture. Why do we even use stories within sales? It's pretty simple, right? Stories are always emotional driven. They create action. Facts often tell, but stories sell. Stories always do the selling. Facts do the telling, stories do the selling. That's a really, really important one. So now that I want you to think about a time you listened to a great story. Now, you weren't just hearing words, you were seeing the actions, feeling the energy and the emotion. So within sales, storytelling isn't just about adding fluff to your pitch. It's a tool to create a personalized connection between yourself and the prospect. When you tell a story, it activates part of the brain that is associated with experiences and not just data. So, before we've spoken about the limbic system within the brain, this part of the brain is activated because you target their emotional state and how you socially interact with them. You're also, in part, targeting the neocortex of the brain because we don't just want to target the emotions when telling a story, but target their understanding of the situation and their decision-making skills. When we're selling, we don't just want to emotionally sell. That won't get you very far, but to sell both to their emotional desires and also their conscious desires. That is a really, really crucial one. Storytelling paints a picture within their mind and it connects the two down correctly. So instead of saying this product will save you time, you simply want to show them a scenario, paint the picture, tell the story of how it will make them feel not buried under paperwork at the end of their day. You want them to mentally place themselves in the place that you're describing, which is often going to be their desired situation. So right now, your prospect is in a painful current situation, and you need to paint the picture, emotionally describe, sell the desired outcome with your stories that you tell. Now that we know why stories are used within sales, let's talk about what makes it an effective story. So think of every great story you know, it has three things: context, conflict, and a resolution. The context stage is where you set the stage. This is your framing. So this is where your framing skills that we have gone over many times before are really going to come into play. This is where you make it relatable for the prospect and where you set the connection between the situation and the prospect. So let's break down what that actually looks like. Say you're speaking to a small business owner who is overwhelmed by managing their business day to day and doing their own operations. Now, you could jump straight into your product features, but if you do, they might not even be listening. Now, why is this? Because you haven't connected with the prospect emotionally yet. They need to know you're understanding them. So instead, start with a scenario that they'll recognize. So you might say something like, imagine it's the end of a long day. You've been putting out fires since the morning, customer calls, staffing issues, trying to keep up with your inbox, and you haven't even touched the actual work that you were set out to do today. Right there, you're drawing them in. You're describing their reality. You're mirroring back to them what they face as daily challenges. This is context, and it is powerful because it's rooted in empathy. This context stage also firmly reiterates the context and familiarity that you build within sales. It's getting on the same level as the prospect and showing them that you're emotionally aware and you understand the pain that they're currently in. You're not just there to sell them, to get money out of them. You really want the best from them. You want to help them. So you build that context. Context is super, super important. Now, conflict. This is where you introduce a challenge to them, sorry. It's where stakes are high, where there's something often to lose or to gain, and people write to avoid loss and seek gain. So you want to bring the prospect's loss or risk to the surface. For instance, you could say, if things keep going like this, you're at risk of burning out, or worse, missing out on growing your business because you're always stuck in that day-to-day grind of putting your fires out, doing all the admin work, when instead you should be working on the business, not inside the business. This is where you paint a picture of what's at stake if they don't take action. So, yet again, going back to your prospect is currently here in a very painful current state, and you want them to go up here. The conflict stage is where you say, well, actually, Jake, if you continue not to sign clients, what's that going to look like for you in the future? Are you going to be able to move forward and progress with your business? Realistically, are you even going to be able to afford your rent? Are you going to be able to afford the car payment that you've just bought? Building that conflict, sorry, is super, super important because it highlights the importance of the issue that they're currently facing. Think of it as peeling back the layers of the issue until you find what really, really bothers them. Maybe their biggest issue is loss of time. It could be missed opportunities or just countless amounts of stress. Whatever it is, the conflict should feel pressuring and almost uncomfortable. Now, why is this? Because change doesn't happen when people feel comfortable. It happens when they feel the need to move away from pain. Action takers take action when the pain of change is greater than the pain of staying the same. The key here is not to overboard and bombard them and make the conflict sound like it's overdramatic. Keep it real and keep it specific and make sure it's tailored to the prospect's world. So if I was speaking to Jake and I knew one of Jake's pain points was that he had a problem hiring more clients, I wouldn't be creating conflict around a problem such as delivering a service. Because there's no point in talking about delivering the service to your clients if Jake's main problem is finding clients in the first place. So make sure that the conflict is true to the prospect. And of course, this is going to differ prospect to prospect because everybody's going to have different problems. So, resolution to the golden opportunity. This is where you show your product or your service and you become the hero of their story. But don't just stop there, right? It may solve all the problems, but you need to highlight how it's going to transform their day, their work, their life, whatever problems they have. How is it going to transform from where they currently are facing their problem to how it's going to take them to where they want to be, the ideal situation? You need to show them how it will make them feel and what they'll be living like when they move forward, when they take that jump, when they find that resolution within what you're selling. Sticking with the last example, a generic resolution may be our software will help you streamline your team's hiring process, right? But personalized resolution is a lot more inevitable that the prospect will move forward because it's personalized and tailored to them. There's a lot more confidence within it. So you can start something like with this system, you're no longer the bottleneck of the process, right? You can set things up, and once it's running, you can then watch your hiring operation smoothly without having to intervene at every step. Imagine finally having the time to focus on strategy and growth, knowing that your team is running the play, get that hiring process going at full speed without the constant need of oversight from you. How will that make you feel? Oh, yeah, thank you very much, Sam. That will make me absolutely amazing. I really need to get started right now. That's the way it makes the prospects emotionally feel. So here you're addressing their specific frustrations and showing them that the freedom they want can be achieved. All they have to do is just move forward with you. Now, here's a tip. The best stories are personal. If you have a story of how you or one of your past clients found success using the product you're selling, make sure you use it. People connect with people and not just products. So sharing the same personal examples and experiences is going to make you feel a lot more relatable and genuine. So if we use it as an instance for community, right? When bringing people to the community, Engage with the prospects, telling them how the community has actually affected you, the value you found in it, what you like about it, how it's helping you move forward, because that is going to be relatable. And other prospects are going to have more trust in you because you have a first-hand experience with it. It's exactly the same with selling a high-ticket product. You can talk about how previous clients have gone from point A to point B, or how the product itself actually helped you. So, tonality and energy. Now, this is absolutely crucial. I can't stress enough how much tonality and energy matters. If you think about it, if you're flat, monotone, boring, even the most powerful story will fall flat on its feet. Your tone and energy should match the story's emotional beat. So when you're setting and using the context, sorry, use a slower, softer tone. Draw them in as you're going to conflict. Pick your energy up and let them feel the tension rise within your voice. And then when you reach the resolution, your voice, text tone, depending on if you're leveraging DMs or voice notes, should convey excitement, warmth, and certainty. This is the most important bit, certainty. Because if you have confidence and certainty within what you're selling, you're most likely going to inflict that onto your prospects. Emotions and attitude, they're extremely contagious. So if I came on here and I was talking through this mastermind call with you guys and I was doing it really boring and slow and quite a monotone, you'd be very bored, right? But with changes in pace and tone, you guys most likely and hopefully are quite excited to keep on moving forward and learn a bit more, right? So yeah, when you reach the resolution, as I said, you should have excitement, warmth, certainty, and confidence. That's very, very important. Let your energy show that you truly believe in the impact of your product. Now, this is called conviction. And the more conviction you have, the more you believe that what you're selling can genuinely help someone, the easier it will be to sell. So we've talked about selling with certainty and confidence. This is where it really comes into play. If you're telling a story about how a product solves a problem, but you sound unsure, the prospect will not buy from you. But if your voice is dripping with confidence, your energy is contagious, and they feel your passion, then you are going to start seeing the future you describe for them. So when is the right moment to drop a story? During the introduction, a short story can be a great icebreaker, especially if you sense that the prospect is feeling tense or guarded, having their guard up. It helps you to start on a note of empathy and warmth rather than just diving straight into numbers, features, etc., etc. So when addressing objections as well, let's say the prospect says, "I'm not really sure this will work for me." Instead of jumping straight into the defensive mode, trying to handle their objections, share a story, a testimonial about another customer who had the similar hesitation and how then they overcame it. This is far more effective than just handling their objections because it's not about arguing, it's about showing an understanding. Remember, as I mentioned previously in other lessons within the school community, always be on the same side as the table as your prospect. Be relatable and understanding. Finally, at the close, this is where you can hit home with a story that showcases the transformation that your product brings to the table. You're not just selling them a product, you're selling them a better life. So go out and practice this. Start small, maybe work on a simple story into your next sales conversation. Even see how it works within a friendship group. See if you can build context with familiarity, build some rapport with friends, family members, and then build up from there. Remember that the more you practice, the more natural it will come. And before you know it, you'll be painting pictures in your prospect's mind that they simply can't shake off.